If you've ever thought about living in Pacific Palisades, this is the video to watch. Today, you'll see the different neighborhoods, the local amenities, and your real estate options. Pali is one of the most sought after neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and now you're gonna see why. I'm Tony Mariotti, your luxury agent in LA. Let's go. One of the defining characteristics of Pacific Palisades is its stunning natural beauty, a product of the Santa Monica Mountains meeting the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Palisades is different than other affluent areas in the Santa Monica Mountains. It has a coastal vibe you just won't get from other neighborhoods in LA, and it is still, say, connected to civilization, which is not always the feeling you get west of here in Malibu. Malibu can get quite rural, which is great for a lot of reasons. In fact, I'm making a video about Malibu in a few weeks, so be sure to subscribe. But simply stated, Palisades is less remote and less challenging, like when you just want to grab a quick bite to eat or when you're driving home from a show at Hollywood Bowl. Let's start with a high-level view of the areas we'll visit today. Pacific Palisades borders Malibu, Brentwood, and Santa Monica. In terms of its layout, Pacific Palisades has four main areas. Going east to west, they are Palisades East, Palisades Core, Palisades Central, and Palisades West. Now, don't go Googling these names. I came up with them. I was looking for an easy way to group Pali's neighborhoods by their similarities. We begin in Palisades East, as we're calling it, which is pretty exclusive. Our first stop is Riviera Palisades, known globally for its golfing and PGA Tour events at Riviera Country Club. Peeling back the hedges and the gates reveals stunning estates. Many at the higher elevations have ocean views. This part of town is known for its quiet, tree-lined streets, and large lots add to the sense of seclusion and privacy. Just down the slope sits the wonderfully verdant Rustic Canyon, and over the ridge and across Amalfi Drive sits Santa Monica Canyon, which runs out to the Pacific Coast Highway and the beach. Rustic and Santa Monica Canyons have been a magnet for artists and intellectuals since the early 20th century. In fact, Chautauqua Boulevard is named after the Chautauqua movement. It's also the road where I was hit by a car cycling one morning, a story perhaps for another day. Palisades East has quick access to hiking in Will Rogers State Historic Park, and one need not venture far into the wilderness to get to a popular viewpoint, Inspiration Point. It's also home to Will Rogers Polo Club, which hosts polo matches April through September. Moving west, we come to Palisades Core, which contains several neighborhoods, and downtown Pacific Palisades. Above Sunset Boulevard sits two neighborhoods, Village and Alphabet Streets. Village sits on a slope, giving homes here a height advantage and subsequent views. Alphabet Streets is level and mellow. The streets are narrow but wonderfully tree-lined. The Village is also what we call the commercial core of Pacific Palisades, a string of businesses lining Sunset Boulevard. In terms of everyday living, Palisadians are self-sufficient. The Village contains essentials like grocery stores, pharmacies, dry cleaners, etc. What's more, Palisades Village, a unique outdoor mall opened in 2018, brings even more vibrancy to the neighborhood. Palisades Village has mid to high-end boutiques, including locally owned shops, along with national brands, and has several eateries expanding your dining options in the area. It's also the location of the Sunday Farmers Market. I think the mall has made Pacific Palisades a destination. It gives Angelinos a reason to come out this way more often. It's been a great addition. Running from Sunset to the PCH sits two more neighborhoods, Huntington Palisades and Via Bluffs, also known as Village Bluffs. These areas also have a laid-back vibe, and the best viewpoint here, and the one that's easy to get to, is Point at the Bluffs, where I'm standing today. In my opinion, the view here is the best in the area. Below the bluffs sits the ever-popular Will Rogers Beach with its volleyball courts, playground, swimming, and skin diving. This is the terminus of the Marvin Broad Bike Trail, which runs from here to Torrance. It's paved, making for a really smooth ride. Mornings on the trail are best. You can keep a pretty steady pace, but afternoon foot traffic in spots like Santa Monica and Venice Beach means slowing down a little and keeping your head on a swivel. Continuing westward, we reach Palisades Central, the largest of the areas we'll visit. We begin in the Highlands, a large-scale development started in the early 1970s. Of all the Palisades enclaves, this is the most elevated. The housing mix ranges from condos and townhomes to single-family homes. There are multiple sections, each with its own amenities like pools and tennis courts. There are two gated communities, the Enclave inside the Summit neighborhood and Palisades Country Estates, which stands apart. There's a small shopping center up here, Highlands Center, that contains about a dozen businesses. Down Palisades Drive, there's another commercial center, Highland Village. Just below Palisades Highlands are Marquez and Bienvenida. Both neighborhoods extend above and below Sunset Boulevard. Upper Marquez has houses along the ridges with many incredible coastal and territorial views. It's also home to the very exclusive gated Ridgeview Country Estates. Below Sunset, you'll find El Medio Bluffs and Bel Air Club. Homes in these neighborhoods include an eclectic mix of architectural styles. At the Pacific Coast Highway, or PCH, you can't miss Edgewater Towers. It's the only high-rise condo building in the Palisades, and it has killer views. There's another newer condo complex across the street that we'll show you in just a minute. One of my favorite things about Pacific Palisades is Temescal Gateway Park. When I lived on the west side, I hiked Temescal Canyon a lot. The views are killer, and this is my go-to place to bring out-of-town guests for the quintessential coastal hike. One oft-photographed trail viewpoint called Top of the Trail is spectacular. Farther up, you'll reach Skull Rock because it looks like a skull. I wanted to drop a quick note about buying a home in Pacific Palisades as it relates to the coast, elevation, and weather. If you're less familiar with the Pacific Palisades, it has a finite number of homes that sit on bluffs above the ocean. Most homes with coastal views will be in a neighborhood higher in elevation and a little farther away from the ocean. I think of it like going to an arena concert. A higher seat is unobstructed, and yes, you're just a little bit farther away, but hey, it's still a great show. One positive trade-off is that the air is warmer at higher elevations because these areas are less influenced by the marine layer. Speaking of weather, Pacific Palisades is a touch cooler than inland neighborhoods like Hollywood Hills or Hancock Park. While most days are sunny here, morning fog is not uncommon, particularly in late spring or early summer, known around here as Gray May and June gloom. But ocean breezes and sunshine usually clear things out by early afternoon. Our last stop, but certainly not least, is Palisades West, which is comprised of 3 really cozy coastal enclaves. Homes here sit above the PCH, Castle Rock Beach, and Ratner Beach. The Paseo Miramar Enclave is a hidden gem with big homes on large lots with unobstructed ocean views. The Castella Mar neighborhood also has great view properties on its westernmost edge, and it's home to Getty Villa, a museum with thousands of Greek, Roman, and Etruscan antiquities. Lastly, there's Pacific View Estates, which borders the Malibu neighborhood of Sunset Mesa. One Coast is a newer luxury condo complex in Pacific Palisades, and while not a high-rise building like next-door Edgewater Towers, it might as well be given its hillside position and panoramic ocean views. I mentioned earlier the commercial activity in the Palisades and that a lot of everyday errands and even boutique shopping could be handled within the neighborhood. But for some, it's just not enough. Maybe they're looking for a neighborhood closer in or even a little livelier. If that sounds like you, check out this deep dive where I'll show you Brentwood and what it has in common with Pali, but where it has a little more juice. I'm Tony Mariotti. See you in the next video.